welcome back to Hot Rod Guy Garage, and this is going to be another episode on the 70 Torino. So follow me along through the intro, and I'll be back. Well guys, it's another week. I got the 70 pushed out here outside, and I'm working on draining the water out of it. As you remember, when I put the Cleveland in this car, I put water in it for No Name Nationals, so I'm out here draining it into the driveway. I gotta get this motor out. I really don't want to pull the motor out of it, but I've got to pull it out to see what's wrong with it and see if we can fix it. If not, it's just going to sit here perpetually forever and not get fixed. So let me flip the camera around. I'll show you where I'm at. If you're new, make sure you check out the last video on this. I'll drop a little link down here somewhere. But yeah, if you missed the last little update video with the SVO in it, I'd pulled the intake off and got the oil pan off of it, and I'd pulled all the rod caps. Everything looks fine, so we're going to have to pull the motor out to find out where those copper chunks come from. And I do believe it may be the cam bearings or the main bearings. So either way, this is going to come out of here. So I've got a bunch of stuff to still take off. I need to get busy doing that. And I'm not going to lie, I really don't have the motivation to do this or to want to at this point. But if I don't fix it, who will? Yep, I just seen something else I didn't like. So let me flip around and I'll show it to you. So I got the distributor gear off. Notice it's weirdly biased towards the top there. Now, this is a melanized gear, and this should be suitable for a roller camshaft. You notice it's thinner up here on top than it is at the bottom. On the bottom here, we got some score marks too. And this is kind of normal right here, but you look down in the block, see that down in there? Yeah, that's not good. So yet another problem. Never seen a Ford distributor you had to shim, but yeah, it looks like it needed to been shimmed up a little bit. Too low, gear was too low, wearing on the top side of the gear. Probably not a good thing. The wear on the block's not a good thing either, but it really won't hurt anything, I don't believe. Since it's technically not supposed to be a thrust surface, even though it kind of is. But not real happy about that either. So let's keep tearing it apart and see what we find. Yeah, I think that's all the up top stuff. I actually think them headers might come out of the car still attached to the motor. There's plenty of room. I may just pull the motor and transmission out of it at the same time, because that'll save me from having to fight with that bell housing and fight with them headers in the car, which none of that stuff's real bad, you know, if it's up in air. But here at the house, we're working on the floor, so I'm going to try to make this tear down as easy as possible, I guess. Because, guys, it's not looking real good from what I'm seeing. So, if I'm right, it's cam bearing, I can probably fix it pretty easy. But we do have a distributor issue that's going to be an issue. And I don't know. I just don't know how much more money I can keep dumping into it. thing's about bankrupted me at this point. It's really seemingly begging for a stock 302 or something. Much as I hate to say those words, I'd like to get some kind of enjoyment out of it. Something's got to happen. You know, y'all would burn me at stake if I, you know, took that car apart and, you know, used it for parts. Not saying that I'm going to, but it was a thought. So let me get this thing pushed in here. We'll get this undercar stuff took loose, like drive shaft, transmission cross member, and the clutch slave cylinder. I've already got the motor mount bolts out of it because I done lifted the motor up to get the oil pan off. So at least I don't have to take those off. So drive shaft, cross member, clutch slave cylinder. I got to take the shifter boot off of it, get the shifter out of it, and take the exhaust loose, and it should, you know, go bloop right out. Well, we all know that's not going to happen, but, you know, in theory it should. You ever lose your header collector bolts? Just start them back in your gasket. And you can put them in a box. You won't lose them. Well, it's about an hour later. I got the cross member, got the slave cylinder, got the shifter out of it, got the starter cables off of it. So pretty much all that's left at this point is drag cherry picker out, figure out how I'm gonna hook it. This motor don't have an intake on it now, and start to see if I can pull this thing up with the headers on it. If not, we get a whole new level of fun, but I do believe it will come out with them on. So let's see what happens. Well, almost out. We'll let it hang here for a minute, right there, just until some of the fluid out of the transmission quits running out the tail shaft. Hopefully, that won't be too much longer. But in the effort to make as little mess as possible, it's it's draining down in there. I don't know why Ford didn't put a drain plug on these top loaders. That would have been like super helpful. But it will come out with the headers on it. In fact, they really didn't interfere with anything on the way out. So, but as you can see, I've done had all this stuff off, and I've had the rod caps off, and you know, looks pretty decent otherwise. It is 4-bolt main. So hopefully the block's not hurt any worse than the distributor hurt it. because it'd be a shame to junk a standard bore 4-bolt main block. So hopefully whatever happened is minor and didn't do any kind of damage any worse than what we've already seen. So this fluid slows down a little bit. I'm gonna lift this motor the rest of the way up, get it out, we'll get it on the floor, and we'll probably tear it down in the morning because it's starting to get kind of dark. And the motor is out. And the floor, where it's going to be the rest of the night, until I can dig my engine stand out and get some bolts, rather than put the block on the engine stand. And it's also a good time to remind you, hit that like button on this video, comment down below, and if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button because it's absolutely free, but it does help the channel to grow and helps bring more projects like this horrible mess. Well, it's another day. Let's get this thing on the engine stand. And alright, got all 8 rods out of it. Got the heads off of it. The journals feel alright. They look alright. Got some scratches on them, but not anything detrimental. There's some real fine emery cloth won't take care of. Probably because it's been sending metal through it in bits and pieces. So next thing to do is I'm gonna get these main caps off, see if we find anything there. And then if we don't find anything in the main caps, we're gonna have to pull the camshaft out of it, check all our cam bearings. And don't find anything there, I have no idea. So, not seeing anything just sticking out so far, which I done told y'all I done pulled the rod caps off of it, and I knew the rod bearings looked okay. But I couldn't really see the crank journals up in the car all that well. They looked alright, and they still look alright. They could probably just use a little bit of polishing. So, let's get the timing chain off of it, get the main caps off, and see what we got. And well, I got the motor part. All the cam bearings look fine in it. All the main bearings look fine, except for main cap number 2. It's not spun, but the bearing looks horrible. So let me flip around and show it to you. We'll talk about it a little more. So as you can see, this one looks alright. That one looks alright, and that looks alright, and that one does too. This is one out of number 2 here. You can see where bearing material's flaking off of it. The tab is perfectly intact, along with all the numbers on the back side of it. Cap side looks the same. Tab is still on the back side of it, along with all the numbers. No indications of it being spun. Block looks good. Cap looks good. But when you put this in the block, it's loose. Same when you put it in the cap side. But say we take the bearing out of this one and put it up here. Bearing's just as tight as the rest of them. So, question is, why did this happen? Now, it don't have no oil restrictors in it. Pretty solid roller cam. And I know Cleveland's feeding the number 1 main first, and then they go through the lifter valley, and then they feed from the back to the front. So maybe that's what caused it, or maybe because it sat on the engine stand for 6 or 7 years. Maybe the assembly lube started to eat the bearings, but none of the rest of them show any indication of any kind of damage other than maybe some little metally things that's went through it at times. Cam looks fine. Like I said, the crank looks pretty decent too. The cam bearings down in there, they all look alright all the way back. So, great mystery, I guess. I don't really understand why it done it or how it done it, but now we at least know what's wrong with it. Just gotta figure out how to go from here to fix it, or if I even want to fix it. At this point, I really don't know what I need to do. because regardless, I'd want to send it to the machine shop and get everything checked out at this point, because it would be the smart thing to do. Knowing that it's had metal and stuff go through it, it definitely needs to be cleaned thoroughly. And considering it keeps breaking valve train stuff, I definitely want the heads checked out. So, if you ever seen Cleveland do this, let me know down in the comments below. But at this point, I don't have a clue what happened. Well, I know what happened. I don't know what caused it to happen. So, I'll be back here in just a moment. We'll talk about some other things. Well, guys, that's probably going to be about the end of this video. I got to push this thing back inside. I got to sit down and figure out exactly what I'm doing. Just the way it goes sometimes. It could have been worse. Could have been hurt worse. Good thing is it'd be relatively inexpensive to fix. In the hindsight of things. Versus buying another motor. Question is, do I want to fix it? Is it worth fixing? Will it ever do what I want it to do? I don't know. So, that being said, I've got a bunch of stuff to think about. You know, I need to start thinking about it, I guess. So, if you like these kind of videos, make sure you hit that like button on this video. Share this video with your friends. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button because it does help the channel to grow. Helps me bring you more videos like this. If you are a subscriber, I greatly appreciate you guys. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching.